we're back. We're going to be doing some more science. And I first off wanted to say thank you to both Crip and Dreamcore for talking about the results of our 50, 100, 150, 500 Zeshit duo rarity comparison. We are going to extend this out. We're going to be doing something a lot more detailed now that we've got more deterministic maps. Today I'm just going to take you guys through the method, the scientific approach, what our expected outcomes are. What our expected, very scientific. Well, this is a science lesson, not an English lesson, right? So what our expected outcomes is in it. And we're going to be going through DAM methodology. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to be testing the impact of map IIR as a multiplicative impact on character group IIR. GGG have confirmed that it is multiplicative, and our obvious expectation is that more number is going to be better. Been checking out Rabbit's streams, so Dead Rabbit's been doing some rarity testing as well, and anecdotally watching him, it certainly looks like more number, bigger number, better. So, you know, but I think we all know that, right? Bigger is always better. There are going to be some challenges to the test method, and our first foray might end up in a false result, and we're going to talk about that. So, what assumptions have we made? And considerations based on the fact that we all have jobs and the whatnot. Well, time is definitely going to be a factor. We're planning to run as many people in a map as feasibly possible during times of testing. So if you did want to get involved, hop over to the streams, streaming most nights. If we need bodies, then you can come get involved with the test. You might feature in a video. Woo! We're anchoring all this around the rarity set by our bot. We are assuming that adding extra people only affects quantity, and it's believed to be 50% more per person. There's no information out there. I know there's some assumptions that it also affects rarity, but I think that is just an assumption because more drops happen per map due to the quantity. I don't believe there is any effect on rarity at all by adding more people, and therefore we should be fine to make this assumption. Next up, we've got a whole bunch of variables to fix because we're working within maps, and there's a whole lot of stuff that can go on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our rarity stacker value. We're going to try and test at 100, 150, and 500 plus. Based on the Zeshit testing, we saw a huge jump between 100 and 150, and 500 plus is just where our rarity bot is at. We're going to fix the rarity on map. We're going to do tests with exactly 0 rarity, and we're going to do tests with exactly 100 to 120 rarity. We're going to, looking at rare monster modifiers, we're going to make sure that we do not run +1 Abyss or +1 mods. The reasoning for this is it would either have to run it on every map or not run it at all. It's well known that stronger rares drop better currency, so if we have too many of these +1s mixed in, it's going to potentially offset the values in a way we don't want. Now, we can't completely control this variable. Unfortunately, the game sticks us in a situation where there is a level of randomness to the number of mods on rares that spawn. We're just going to have to deal with that. That is one variable we can't control. Delirium modifiers, we're not going to be running Delirium, and we're not going to be opening Delirium mirrors. Reasoning, I don't know if it's multiplicative or additive. Later analysis will actually be specifically on the impacts of Delirium. Number of drops compared, I've optimistically put 400. We've done 200 at 0 rarity on map and full rarity, and this is it so far. It's absolutely dire. I'll let you take that in briefly. But yeah, it's not great. We got 5 divines, and it took us like 3 hours. It's awful. I think one takeaway I can tell you already is make sure you've got some rarity on your map or tablets, like whatever your personal level of rarity. Anyway, decent sample of 200, but we need more really, so we want to go to 400. The types of mirror drops we're comparing, we can fix this as well. We're going from mirrors down to orbs of chance. We're including exalted orbs as well. The reasoning for this is we want to limit the drop pool realistically to something that we can collect in a map. The issue with this is because we're not comparing the worst tiers of currency, we run a risk of weird results. I think this could produce some anomalies, but we will see how this pans out. If there are the anomalies where we see loads of exalts fill up the pool really fast on high rarity on map, high stacker rarity, then what we'll have to do is start collecting all currency and then comparing currency across the board at a much higher rate. That's the change we'll make if we start to get anomalous results. However, that's obviously going to be more time investment, so we're going to see if we can avoid that first. Number of map mods, we're going to fix that at 6. It impacts overall rarity roll from the Atlas setup, so we're always just going to fix it at 6. Precursor tablets, we're not going to use any. Varying lines will impact the roll from the Atlas setup with the explicit modifier effect. Atlas passives, we're not going to be using any of the +15 rarity, and we're not going to be Yeah, we're not going to be using the plus 15 rarity, and we're not going to be using anything that increases the prefix or suffix randomly. That's to keep the 0 tests at 0 and the 100 to 120 tests at the 100 to 120 value with less variance. On map mods, we're only going to run Breach. We're not going to run anything else. Reasoning, it just adds more monsters. It doesn't add any additional rarity or anything like that, so it would just be a way to get some more monsters out of a specific map. Chests and researchers. Researchers we won't be opening. Chests we will. Sorry, we will open chests. That'll be written there when you see it, but you'll hear me typing because the magic of editing. We will be opening the chests, but not the researchers. Researchers have their own rarity roll on them, so that will randomize the quality. Chests, however, will be opened under the rarity conditions that we want, so that's fine, because we're just counting 2 drops. Rarity shrines, we're not going to be opening those. We can't run them all the time. We don't want random impacts of rarity. And empowered bosses, we don't want to run those either. They have the 30% chance to corrupt the maps. That could increase the level, and it can add corruption mods that we can't control. So we're going to try and avoid bosses with empowered bosses on them. If we do have to run them, we won't be counting those results. Right, what variables we can ignore and why? Although the first one is assumptive, the number of people in group, the reasoning behind that is it only affects the quantity. And the map base, the reasoning for that, we are running to a set number of drops. I think where and what kills or drops that is irrelevant, so long as it happens under the required rarity conditions. Approach and analysis, we're going to capture results of 200, 400 if sanity allows, drops listed in the variables, and we're going to compare the quality of the drops basically against on-map rarity versus rarity stacker, see if there's any trends across there. Our expected outcomes, based on statements from GGG regarding the multiplicative nature of on-map rarity and the lack of a cap, I would expect to see a more pronounced increase in drops from 100 to 500 plus on character between 0 and 100 IIR on map. I think that multiplicative effect is going to be huge, and I think it's going to scale rarity. Due to our own findings on Zeshit, I would expect the biggest gap to be between 100 and 150 across both 0 and 100 IIR. I think that's going to be really pronounced at 0, but I think we're still going to see it at 100 as well. When running zero rarity in map, I would expect the numbers to quite closely match what we saw when running Zeshit, because we're effectively running Zeshit, because that's got no additional rarity other than our bot either. Future considerations, I don't know if Delirium is additive or multiplicative. We're going to run this with Delirium again and run the test to see what impact that has under the same conditions. And there is the possible outcome that this could all just go to shit, because when we turn the rarity up, we just drop like 200 exalts in a map and don't see any divines because we turn all of the base crap currency into exalts. If that happens, I've told you what we're going to do too. Reapproach this test with a better gathering of results. But that's the plan. That's what we're doing science-wise, guys. We're going to be streaming it all, so all of our drops will be recorded. If you are into this sort of thing, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help. And if you want to catch the videos as soon as they come out, when we release them, maybe hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks again to Crip, Dreamcore, and everyone that's been talking about this. It's been really awesome. So yeah, really looking forward to getting these results out to you guys. And I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.